Hello, I'm Joey, and yes, once again, we reach out to one of our favorite artists from around the world here on Asia Pop 40, and today he is all the way from London, I believe, extremely talented singer-songwriter. His name is Scott Quinn. Hello, Scott. How's it going?
Hello. Very good. Good to be here.
It's so good to have you. This is the space, actually. This is the space where you wrote that song for BTS, Zara Larsson, A Brand New Day, and that Keith Urban, Say Something, right? Chart toppers.
You've done your research good there. It's crazy. When I moved here, I moved from North Yorkshire in the north of England in the countryside.
Yep.
I had no equipment. I was borrowing equipment and stuff. So I came down here and bought some equipment, and it was a really big moment for me because I've never owned my own little studio setup. And I said to myself, I think there's an Instagram post way back of me being like, I'm going to write some incredible songs here that are going to reach the world. And I was being a bit cocky, but also you got to manifest this stuff. And sure enough, that was it. So yeah, I did a track for BTS that I recorded in here, did all the backing vocals on here, and it was just on this microphone and all the same. And then there's the same for the tune over lockdown. I did a song for Keith Urban, exactly the same setup. And I just think there's probably something to say for just feeling comfortable here, because this is my home and I just feel safe. So it's been a fun thing to do.
Are you more creative in a safe space?
I like to think there's a whole thing around vulnerability that I think is a real key component in songwriting and any art, really.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it's kind of a broken system in some ways. When you're a new writer or an artist, you get sent round to write with all these strangers on a daily basis. I love that personally. It's fun to meet new people. But unless you really hone a relationship with those people, I don't think you're going to get the best out of them. And so for me, I've been working on Zoom with so many people over lockdown, and usually I've kept to the people that I know and that I know work and I can be vulnerable with. And you just want to be able to say anything and there'd be no judgment and there'd be no kind of like, I don't know, alarm or anything. Not that there's anything alarming about the things I'm saying, but just kind of like you want to be able to express yourself and feel held. So I think definitely there's an element of that. And it's been interesting with Zoom because obviously there's no physical interaction, and I've missed that a lot.
Yeah.
So getting back recently into the studio in the past couple of months has been exhausting because you've got that energy exchange again.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I love that. I crave that. But it has been exhausting because I've just been used to talking to a screen, pressing the red button and just watching Netflix or something.
I do feel like you have found that time to look on the inside, to be introspective about some of the things you've been going through, because the last three singles, from Nightmare to Better For Me to Holding On to Letting Go, it's very intimate. And there's an album coming out. Is it going to be equally intimate as the three singles that we've been listening to?
So yeah, it's an EP. There's one more song to come, and the premise of the EP is the journey of a tumultuous relationship.
Sounds like a title for a book.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. And there's only really, when you look at it, there's only one uber positive song, which is Better For Me, and then the rest is quite tumultuous, and it's basically declining, slippery slope, which is, it has been the case for me in the past with relationships I've had, and I just think it's an interesting insight into that. And so Nightmare was about this shock to the system of like, wow, this person who I thought was incredible is not. It's all a bit gonna, oh my God, what's happening? And then the other two, this single in particular and the one that's coming next are all around the themes of codependency and not being able to let this thing lie. And even though this thing's been bad for us, we keep coming back to it. I guess like any addiction or kind of like any kind of habit like that.
Yeah, to cite a line from the song Holding On to Letting Go, I know I could make it easy, but I don't. The second I get over you, when it's really over, you get closure, but I keep on holding to letting go.
Very good.
So you want to hold on
Very
to
good.
letting go. And you know what? I remember it because I share the sentiments. There are relationships where you don't want to get over it, because once you've gotten over it, it's like that period of your life is over. It's like finishing a good book, right? You don't want to finish it.
Yeah, exactly. And I've done that recently with books. I've literally just stopped reading them because I don't want to get to the end. So it's always there to be finished. Yeah, it's 100%. And that there's many lines in that song that just popped out that me and my friend Adam, who wrote it, were just like, wow, that's profound. And it just came from us both. We're both going through similar situations. And yeah, it's even the title is such a simple idea, but it's quite complex. I've been saying it to people whose English isn't their first language. A lot in German, for example, it doesn't really translate very well. like the idea doesn't really twig. And so it's interesting having to explain it to people, because it's this, they're the antithesis of each other. To hold on to something and to let go of something. So to hold on to the act of letting go of something is quite an interesting premise. And so that in itself was interesting to us, because there's a few songs with a similar title, but it's never really been written upon, which baffled me.
No, I love it. By the way, I love that you make rhyming so easy in your songs. Like some of the lyrics that you write, it's like you said, it's simple wording. Really, like it's easy to translate into a different language, and the message is simple. But somehow you make it rhyme too, and then when you do all three, it clicks really well.
Thank you.
I can tell you're someone who's very deep. You like philosophy, and you're also a champion of mental health.
Yes.
Is it that you have gone through mental health, the hurdles of mental health, or that you've seen a lot of people going through it?
It's definitely a mix of both, and I feel fortunate. It's another thing, I don't know where I got it from, but I've always had this self-awareness of it. And so it was at first year of university. The university was incredible, but the area in which I lived was a massive culture shock to me. I'd come from the countryside up north, and I was now very much in a city environment, and there was a lot of gangs and drugs and police raids every day and all this stuff. And I just wasn't making me happy. And music was my kind of like therapy before I knew what therapy was. And this university, even though it was a music course, only had one piano in the entire place. And I only had access to it for like 1 hour a week, and that just wasn't enough for me. So I got depressed. I went home, and I knew I needed to get a diagnosis. There's something in me that needed to be validated in that. And got diagnosed with depression. Luckily, and I don't, I have no negative views on any form of therapy or medication. You need what you need. Yeah. I didn't need any medication at the time. I just kind of focused on me. But then I did realize around that time there's a massive stigma. And I remember I was in a cafe talking to my friend about having depression, and this guy on the other table was like, maybe you should keep your voice down, keep that stuff to yourself. And something just clicked in my head. And I was like, and this is where my whole interest in like projection started, because I was like, in my head, something said, that's you, that's yours, that's not mine. So what he was saying to me was him and not me. And something happened. I was like, okay, we need to work on this. This is something we need to work on. And so from there on, I've kind of been massively a pro mental health advocate. I've set up a number of initiatives. There's a music-led one, which predominantly was trying to help people in the music industry with their mental health, because it's a tough industry where the commodity you're trading is your creativity. It's something vulnerable to you. And then suddenly you're sat around a table with like all these business people being like, you need to dress in this jacket to make the song go big. You're like, oh, there's more to it than that. It's massively kind of fetishized in culture and movies and stuff. And even now it's become like this kind of like corporate aid to make you seem woke. And I'm just like, come on, I don't know. We've all got it. We've all got mental health, degrees of mental health. And I didn't know I didn't have a word for anxiety until I was 18, but I'd felt it as a kid. So all of that's fascinating to me. I could talk about it for hours. I'm just ranting on and on and on.
No. Yeah, I think it's very important to be like that, to look on the inside and know what you're going through. I think with COVID-19, we learned that we are not just individuals. We live in communities where if one of us gets it, your whole social network is at risk, right? Mental health is the same thing. If you don't cure yourself, or if you aren't careful of your mental health, then you run the risk of passing it on to, be it your spouse, your kids.
Yeah, especially if you're going to have children. And yeah, exactly. The children's a massive one, because that's how it keeps repeating. Again, it's something I'm so passionate about. And it's always interesting finding people who are like interested. And I can see your Red Sapiens, it's behind you there, and I can see your book behind you. All that stuff. Classic people. I just love people. And so even as a songwriter, again, to explore that on a daily basis has been really cathartic. And I didn't realize at first that that's what I was doing, but I'm just really interested in how we all interact, and people as a theme.
Yeah. So everyone who's watching this, find the time to heal yourself, to make yourself better mentally and of course physically. And if you need some consolation, if you need some help along the way, listen to the music from Scott Quinn. New EP is out, I think early June. Wait, is it out? No, early July, right?
Mid-July. We're aiming for. So there's one more single to come, and it's along the same themes of just this cycle, this cyclical nature of not wanting to let this thing die. Yeah. And this final song, there's a collaboration version of it. We're doing two versions of it. One of it's going to come out. It's collaborate with an artist over your side of the world, but I'm not going to share too much. But
My
it's
side
great.
of the world in Asia?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. This is interesting.
So, which is dead exciting. And she,
Easy.
I'll say, okay, I can give away some bits. She's wonderful, and she's very talented, and I'm looking forward to it. And it just fits. This song was meant for a duet, basically. But it's going to come out as a single by myself first, and then we're going to...
Okay. I fear that you have already said too much, but thank you for that.
Yeah, there's a red dot. A red dot's just appeared on my forehead, and they're like...
Look out for the new EP coming out mid-July, and for now, we can enjoy all the singles that's been dropped so far. Nightmare, Better For Me, the title track, and of course, as of late, Holding On to Letting Go. Today, we have Scott Quinn with us, and thank you, Scott, for joining here today.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. It means the world. Thank you.